Barney has energy to sell.
Like
the fucking dude is running all over the place.
He looked like an old man who got really mad that he didn't get his pudding in the retirement home.
Welcome to another episode from Takedowns to Breakdowns with A&P, and today we're here to ask a question. Napalm Death, music or just plain old noise? According to you, I think it's plain old noise.
No, it's just more of... I had this... So
let me set up, before you go further, let me set this up so people understand why we're even talking about this.
Yeah.
We went to see Arch Enemy with Behemoth. Napalm Death was part of that bill. And after the...
Don't forget Unto Others.
Unto Others, but it doesn't really matter for the conversation. So anyways, during the performance of Napalm Death, his face told a story. And I could tell exactly what the story was just by looking at his face. But once the show was over, not the show in general, but their set, once their set was over, I turned to him and I'm like, okay, let me confirm what the face was already telling me. What did you think? And he said...
I said that the Napalm Death sounds like what my friends think metal sounds like.
Which it got lots of giggles.
Lots of giggles, yeah.
Of those that were around us. And then when my buddy who was doing the sound for Unto Others and the lights for Unto Others came to chat with us during the show, in between sets, I mentioned that to him. And he said to me, wow, I think the guys would actually be pretty happy to hear that because they don't see that as a diss. They would actually see that as a compliment.
It wasn't a diss, though.
A little bit.
It was a little bit of a diss.
It was a little bit of a diss, but...
come on, there's no way you can, you can love Napalm Death all you want, but come on, you have to admit that people who don't listen to metal, if that's their reason not to listen to metal, is because they would think that everything sounds like what Napalm Death sounds like.
I know, but it's funny that for the band, that's actually, that's not a diss. For them, that's a compliment. So yeah. I thought that was interesting. Now, what you said, there is some truth to what you said. And I think Napalm Death is one of those bands that if you grew up listening to them, if you're a fan of the band, going to see them live, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into and you understand what the show is going to be all about. If you're not a huge fan of the band and you're getting introduced to the majority of their discography through a live show, that might not be the best way. And I think for you, you may have heard... I mean, we did a couple of songs of Napalm on the channel, so you may have heard like 2 or 3 songs, I think, Suffer the Children, maybe Scum. So you've heard maybe 2 or 3, but you had never experienced a full-on set of Napalm Death. You didn't enjoy it.
No. Especially even him on stage and everything.
Dude, the guy's fucking... Barney has energy to sell. Fucking dude is running all over the place.
He looked like an old man who got really mad that he didn't get his pudding in the retirement home.
Oh... So if the first one wasn't a diss, what is this?
That one is a diss.
Okay, this one is a straight up diss.
Because it wasn't like he was hype. He wasn't straight from the path hype. Hype on stage.
He looked like he didn't know where he was going.
He looked like he got hit in the head and then he stumbled onto the stage and the concussion was slowly creeping in. It was like a creeping death onto him.
Wow, is that how you perceive the whole performance?
Well, because he was hitting the fucking mic on his head half the time and he was screaming, come on. If you're not a fan of the band and you've also never seen the band live, and then you see that
takes you back a little bit.
Yeah, it's
you're like, what's happening?
What's
here?
happening now?
I
want what he's having. Definitely.
Can I have 2 of those?
I want to have 2 of those.
I want 2 of those, whatever that is.
The smiley face tab. I want 2 of those.
So you basically didn't leave the show a huge... I mean, you didn't walk in a huge Napalm Death fan, and you definitely didn't leave a big one.
They definitely carved themselves into my mind. I won't forget the performance, but yeah, no, I'm not a big fan.
Now, you made the statement that we said about them sounding like what your friends think metal sounds like.
Yeah.
Now, if you can somehow remove yourself from the fact that you listen to metal and you know a lot of different bands and you like different genres, remove yourself from that. And you listen, and you walk in like we were just talking. You walk in and you see that performance in front of you. Do you agree with that statement? Do you see it from that point of view as well?
Well, okay.
Maybe it's hard, but
if I didn't see the bands beforehand and it was just Napalm Death,
yeah, you just walked in and they were playing.
I'd walk right out. If I wasn't a metal fan.
Yeah, but
if I was just a random person.
But would you have that same statement like this is just noise?
My statement wouldn't be oh, this is what people who don't listen, because obviously...
Yeah.
But my statement would be like,
see, what I thought it was, it's true. It's just noise.
No, I wouldn't say it's just noise. I'm like, fuck, what's wrong with this guy? And then I'd walk out. Or I'd film it because I think something's wrong with him. Like...
So you're filming it all for the wrong reasons?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. I listen. I'm a big fan of Napalm Death.
That's true.
I love Napalm Death. I grew up listening to Napalm Death. But having said that, I can understand how it can be jarring to see them live. Okay. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that what the fuck is wrong with you? That was a great performance. Blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do that because I would be lying.
It was a better performance than Spirit Box. That's what I'll say.
Fuck, you can't even. The two bands. Well,
I'm saying stage presence.
Spirit
stage
Box,
presence. Come on.
Listen, Spirit Box cannot even drive Napalm Death's bus.
I know, but come on. Stage presence. Like, look.
Oh, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison. One was stiff. The other one.
Barney could be having a seizure on stage for all that I care. That would still be better than.
That's what I thought he was having half the time.
He looked like he was going somewhere, but halfway on the way there, he forgot where he was going because he would walk towards one side of the stage and then halfway.
And then he'd go like this.
And then halfway through, he would.
He was
walk
like
the
Bushwhackers. He was like the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, maybe he's the Grand Court version of the Bushwhackers.
I feel like he was getting like the lights were just like going too much because it was going in my eyes too.
I know, but the lights were behind him, so
who knows? Maybe he was getting like
reflection off of somewhere.
Exactly, and having a seizure
off of the stripper poles. Anyways, I'll sit here and I'll say this: I'm a fan of the band. Napalm Death was actually the first metal T-shirt I've ever owned. Was a Napalm Death T-shirt, Utopia Banished. So I'm a fan of the band. I grew up listening to the band. I enjoy the band. I really like their work, and there's nothing more positive that I can say about Napalm Death. I listen to Napalm Death at least once a day. No word of a lie. At least one track from Napalm Death hits my playlist once a day, especially when I go on vacation. Because when I go on vacation, I love the smell of Napalm Death in the morning. That's a reference. So anyway, I love Napalm Death. Having said that, that was my second time seeing them live, by the way. I've seen them before. So having said all of that, going into a Napalm Death show, I know, well, having seen them live before, I kind of know where I'm getting myself into. But I also understand that they're not the easiest band to fall in love with live. It could be jarring. The sound, everything that's happening. Everything seems discombobulated. It seems like there's no rhyme or reason. It's a little bit all over the place. It's almost like they're taking a punk attitude from a small club, like an underground club, and now they're putting that punk attitude on a big stage. I think if I was to define what everything was, that's kind of what it is. And it doesn't always translate well in that bigger stage. If you see them probably in a smaller venue, more compact, where there's not as much room to wiggle, the stage performance becomes better. That doesn't change the sound. It's just the stage performance becomes a little bit better. But they are jarring live. It is hard to digest some of the songs live. It is. I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not. But that's what the band is all about. The band is about making you feel slightly, and in some cases more than slightly, uncomfortable. Now, because I come from a different background in terms of my taste for that music and what they represent, and I also understand that without Napalm Death, there wouldn't be a lot of the extreme metal bands that we now listen to that are more refined. They just never refined their sound. They've always kept their sound true to what they were. But I admit, I was not expecting you to come in and listen to Napalm Death and be like, fuck, these guys are amazing. No, they have a very jarring sound, specifically live. They're not easy to digest. They're not easy to get into. And if you're not a fan of the band before the live show, I highly doubt it that you're going to be a fan of the band after the live show. They're just that kind of band. But I absolutely love them. I enjoy them. I enjoyed listening to them live in studio. And the performance, to me, I just see it as absolute mayhem and chaos. Because really, there's no rhyme or reason. Barney's just going all over the place. He looks like he doesn't know what to do with his arms half of the time.
He doesn't.
I need to do something, but I don't necessarily know exactly what that something is or whatever. So
I think his hand was connected to his head, because every time his hand would go up and down.
It looks like he's getting electrocuted. He looks like he's being electrocuted at every single track.
He's being possessed.
Yeah, he's going through. It's like a poltergeist. He's going through it. So, anyways, I get all of that. I wasn't shocked by your comment. I thought your comment was actually dead on, and I'm not surprised that my buddy said that the band would actually take it as a compliment, because I think that's kind of what they are and who they are, and they don't try to be something that they're not. So like I said, I think if you're not a fan of the band and you come to see them live, I don't think you're gonna walk out a fan. I highly doubt it. It's not your thing. You have to be a fan of the band, appreciate the songs beforehand, because there's also a lot of stuff from the lyrical content that gets missed live, because there's just so much noise, so much thing. It's not like you're sitting there like, oh fuck, what he said in that song is fucking.
I don't even know what he was saying though. Like I don't like lyric wise, I didn't even know he was speaking. Like, I didn't know he was actually saying words.
Oh, yeah, half the time you thought he was just screaming at the mic? Like he was mad at the mic?
Yes.
Like the mic stole his wallet and he just...
Stole his wife, wallet, cars, kids, everything, bro. I don't even know what he was saying half the time. Like,
maybe it's his British accent.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
You know?
Maybe. We have an Architects thing where, like, the accent doesn't leave while he's singing?
He's the opposite. You know, more like Elton John, when he's singing, he doesn't sound British, only when he talks,
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
So maybe
Architects, you can tell that they're British.
Yeah, but maybe Napalm Death is the other way around. So when they sing, the British accent becomes even stronger. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why you didn't get it. Either that or he was just mumbling.
I'm pretty sure it
was just mumbling?
Yeah.
It would, you know what would be funny on a last note here? If Napalm Death released a T-shirt with the lyrics of the song, and the lyrics of the song was like written in the back, like
written in like,
as what you kind of
in the
perceive
font of the Napalm Death song.
Yeah, and how you perceive when you listen to the song live, not the actual lyrics, but what you actually perceive. I think that would be them trolling themselves, and I think that would be absolutely hilarious and perfect for them. Anyhow, so Napalm Death, the band that sounds like what people think metal sounds like. Fuck, that's a great T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Great T-shirt. All right, guys, let us know. What do you think about Napalm Death? Have you guys seen them live? What's your take? Music, noise. I know they're not for everybody, but hit us up in the comment section and let us know your thoughts. We'll see you guys at the next video.
See ya.